My husband and I have been married for 4 years and together for 6, and this is the very first huge argument we've ever had. I, F24, am currently 33 weeks pregnant with his, M31, baby. When I was 20 weeks pregnant, my doctor diagnosed me with placenta previa, which, if you don't know, is basically when the placenta for my baby is covering the opening in my cervix. They told me it would likely move as my baby grew, but it never did. So I am scheduled for a C-section in just 3 weeks. At 20 weeks I was put on very light restrictions, but at 30 I got put on heavier restrictions, like no running, no lifting or climbing, no standing for longer than 3 hours at a time, and most importantly no sex and no vaginal exams. Because my doctor told me that we want absolutely nothing to potentially make me bleed, which could lead to preterm birth. So I have been doing this all for 3 weeks, but it has been driving my husband fucking insane. Every single day he bothers me for sex. Every single day. Every single day I tell him I can't, and remind him of the restrictions. I don't even want to have sex anyway, my tummy is so big and I am always exhausted. He doesn't really like those answers. Finally he came to me and started going on about how doctors sometimes dramatize things for the sake of their careers and more money. He said they push for C-sections. I was like, okay, whatever, but I know that I have this condition. Obviously I'm going to follow the rules. He didn't take the answer and we ended up having sex. For a few hours after, I was having really heavy bleeding and I got so scared. I was crying in the bathroom, trying to figure out what to do. I ended up calling my doctor and she told me to come in right away. The whole car ride there I was just sobbing, imagining that in an hour I would be having a C-section for an only 33-week-old baby. We quickly figured out that I am not in preterm labor. I was just bleeding, and as long as it stops it will be okay. It did, and I am fine. But while I was there, my doctor asked my husband to leave and started asking me questions. She asked me if I did anything I wasn't supposed to do. She was like, this isn't accusatory, it's okay, it's just better to know if it was caused by something or random. I told her that I had sex. She just went over all the things again and then gave me a bunch of information on domestic violence. She put them in my purse for me, literally. I was so embarrassed. When we got into the car I broke down and yelled at my husband, telling him to never do that to me again and telling him that my doctor knows more than him and knows what is best for me and the baby. He apologized and I could tell he really meant it. I have still been holding a grudge for days and he's been groveling for days. He asked me how long I was going to make him apologize. I told him at least until the baby is born. Update 1. I posted this about 7 hours ago and I cannot believe how many people have responded. I don't know if I could ever say thank you enough to such thoughtful strangers on the internet. So originally my plan was to tell my doctor and my SIL, maybe my brother, but I wasn't looking forward to discussing those details with him. I rescheduled my weekly appointment with my doctor for TMR. I know some people said I would be able to just walk in, but I didn't want to do it and then have make some excuse to my husband. The comments made me realize the severity of the situation, and honestly I am terrified. So I called my SIL when she got off work and we had a really long conversation. I mentioned in the comments, but my SIL and brother have never really liked my husband, especially my SIL. She was very supportive and kind and we talked for a long time. I guess I can admit now that it wasn't just sex, it was rape. We talked about that more than anything else, and she cleared the whole confusion thing up very quickly. I told her a lot of the things my mom excused because she likes my husband, and my SIL was livid. I guess I kinda knew she always would be, which is why I never told her. She ended up telling me to talk to my doctor and she will talk to my brother and we will see what's going on. She said she will come down on the soonest flight, but my brother cannot come yet because they do have children of their own. I was content with that though, and my appointment with my doctor is tomorrow. So my husband got home kinda early and saw how I was upset. I really was planning on getting myself together before he came home, but I did not have time. Still, I was not going to tell him anything, but he was being so kind, which he really usually is. I know that's hard to believe, but it's true, but today especially he was so kind and so worried about me. I know it was stupid to explain the situation, but I did. I don't know why. I'm just used to telling him my problems, I guess. It was a mistake and I know that. I am really trying not to be so stupid anymore, but it's hard to switch from thinking about him as my loving and caring husband to my husband who is hurting me. So I told him that, and how he hurt me, and honestly I'm scared now. He was like, what? How? I said by forcing me to have sex, by literally forcing my legs apart and telling me to calm down. He was like, oh my fucking god, Lily, don't fucking say that. That's a crime, do you understand that? Do you understand you just accused me of martial rape? And pushed me away from him. I started to apologize, and he started to say it was okay and do that thing where he acts like I'm dumb again. So I finally like, yeah actually, I really do understand that now. It isn't right and it is martial rape. It resulted in a huge argument, once again. He called me an idiot for even daring to say those words. I called him an abuser and he literally laughed. He was like, who are you talking to? You don't know what you're talking about, and started to go on and on about things I don't know about. He said sex with his wife isn't rape, no matter how you split it. I ended up trying to just walk away, but he grabbed me by my wrist. I snatched my hand away and he held up his hands, was like, oh I'm sorry, that might be considered battery of a pregnant woman, if we're going by your definitions. The condescending tone is what really drove me to the edge, and I told him I don't want to be around him. He was like, fine, I'll go. I said no, I want to go. I want to be away from you. He threw the credit card at me and told me to go get a hotel then. So I did. And here I am, typing this now. And my SIL is on her way right now, but I am so far from okay. He's called me several times but I won't answer. I've never seen him that angry before. I am slightly concerned what he will do if I genuinely tell him I want to leave and take the baby. He is the one who wanted to have a child, and I was convinced. It won't let me take her easily, and that terrifies me. Every time my daughter kicks I just want to sob. I never thought that my own baby would make me cry like this. But I am just so scared. Best of luck to you. Oop, it is terrifying. It's so strange that the moment I said a word he didn't like, he was meaner and worse than I've ever seen him. Update 2. It is his card, but I told the hotel what was going on and they seem to understand. My SIL will be here soon, so it's just tonight I'll be alone. Oop, I am already doing this. I want to have my daughter in my home state, but I am not sure how that works, and I am scared to do something wrong and give my husband leverage to take her. I am really trying my best. I only have less than 3 weeks to get somewhere and I'm just stressed and scared. I also know he never allow me to have the baby or C-section on my own. He will be there. And I just don't know how to deal with that. Oop, I can't. But the drive back to home state is about 20 hours. This one is quick, and for the people who wanted me to verify that I am okay, 3, I genuinely don't know what to say about the amount of support I got. Thank you so very much. August 7th I posted my update, and I mentioned having Braxton Hicks for the first time. I was urged to go to the hospital. I originally wasn't going to, but thank goodness that I did, because by the time I walked in the door, I was bleeding so heavily it was down my legs. Turns out I had a placental abruption. August 7th at 10:37 p.m., my daughter was born via emergency C-section. She is now only less than old as I post this, but I am being forced to deal with an attorney and all of this already. She was only 33 weeks and 5 days when she was born. She is tiny, but still doing relatively well, so they tell me. She is in the NICU now and I am in the hospital still as well. I have received lots of care, and while it is all scary and hard, seeing my daughter makes it better. I'm fine, I will be fine, and so will she. The nurses here are amazing, and the doctor told me as long as everything goes well, I get to take my daughter home in just a few weeks. 3. As for my situation, my SIL came shortly after my daughter was born and she's been by my side all day and very supportive. The attorney advised us to allow my husband visitation with my daughter while she is still in the NICU, so I did. I do not have a concern of him hurting our daughter while in the hospital or anything like that. I have received lots of supportive messages from his coworkers and his side of the family, so I am sure he is spinning the story that we are together and everything is fine. He is trying to act like that too. He's seen our daughter several times today, and I think that he was in the hospital with me during the C-section, but I am honestly not sure. He came up to my room this morning while the nurses were helping me take that first walk after the C-section. I was just emotional enough to let him in. I have to be honest and say it wasn't easy to try and hate him after all of this. I still let him comfort me and I still cried to him. But at the end, when he said you wouldn't have had to do this alone if you weren't acting that way, and grabbed my face to make me kiss him, it reminded me of why exactly I am doing this. So yeah, I am not so sure what I'm going to do. Originally I really wanted to have my daughter in my home state so that I could stay there with her and my SIL and brother, but I highly doubt my husband will allow me to take her there. My attorney says I have options, and the options are heavily in my favor, as I did what you all suggested and got the medical records of the rapes, including the one I posted about and 2 more I went to the hospital for over the years, as well as in writing my doctor saying that my placental abruption was likely caused by trauma and stress, for custody and stuff like that, but likely only here where we currently live. Honestly, that's okay. Being able to briefly hold my baby and seeing her and loving her so much has replaced much else in my mind. I want to be safe, but I want her safe most of all. I won't do anything to put her in the situation I was in. She is only 16 hours old and she is all I think about, and will ever think about for the rest of my life. Now on to second story. Nursing student accused of abscess due to constant bruises. Classmate tries to help by repeatedly calling the police. University intervenes. I, 19 male, am in a nursing program. We do a lot of physical exams on each other to practice, which involves wearing shorts and tanks. It's important to mention I am permanently blind in one eye, am constantly running into walls, doors, railings, plants, people, animals, everything. As you can guess, I'm covered in bruise 90% of the time, on my blind side. In the course one day we were talking about signs of abuse and the teacher said constant bruising. I raised my hand and added that it's important to talk to the patient if they're an adult, before calling the police, as it could be something else. She asked for an example, so I rolled up my sleeve and explained that the bruises were from door handles of the school, which were varying colors and heights. She nodded and agreed. She said with children we call the second we suspect abuse. With adults we attempt to talk to them first, and if their reason seems veiled, we don't call. The lessons continued, and a weekish later the cops showed up to my door. They told me they got a report that I was being physically abused and I was always covered in bruises. I told them about my disability. They checked my home, talked to my family, saw no further signs, and I asked questions next. They got my address from the university because they take abuse seriously here, and when they talked to the university about me, the university was very concerned and just wanted to help me. After the police left, I talked to some people at the university, including a psychologist, just so they could be sure I had no mental signs of abuse. Then life went on. Well, I was still coming in the bruises every day, and one of my classmates came up to me. She told me our classmate Kay was telling people she was thinking about calling the police again because I'm still covered in bruises. I got my classmate's report written down, alongside a few others, and waited. Sure enough, police showed up again, same song and dance, but this time I told the university that Kay was using the police to harass me and I wanted something done about it. The university decided the best course of action was to move her from my labs to the other ones so she couldn't see whether I was bruised or not. She's now told me I'm an asshole and that she was just trying to help me, and I didn't need to mess up her whole university schedule. So Reddit, Ida edit, my posts were shared to r/AmothyAngel, so maybe deleting my account if or when I get harassed, as every post I've seen on there usually seems to end in the oop being harassed, and honestly done with getting harassed by people I either don't know or barely know, so just warning y'all in case I do end up erasing everything, edit to add. I am in fact a victim of past abuse, so to the people at r/AmothyAngel already sending my harassment, I'm so sorry that a victim of abuse was struggling to figure out if they went too far or did what was necessary when I still haven't gotten my actual abuser arrested and just moved away from him because I felt bad telling people he was a jerk to me because he donated to charity and helped put people through university. I'm so sorry you only see it as blatant validation and not as what it really is, a side effect of my abuse story. Update 1. I'm blind in one eye, I run into random stuff if I'm not paying enough attention. I'm covered in various bruises. Showed this during class while talking about abuse and how we have to talk to adults before calling. Girl decided to call the cops on me twice claiming I'm abused, resulting in me forced to go to counseling, talk to therapists, police, act until everyone was assured I wasn't abused. So anyways, it's been a bit since that post and I have big updates on her. I called her Kay in the other story, so let's stick with that. So anyways, I had previously gotten her removed from my labs. We still shared class, not lab. I figured everything was fine now and she'd leave me alone, but I was wrong. Not only was she spreading rumors that I was abused, but she called the cops again, apparently more than once, as the other 2 times the cops said they had a report of abuse. This time they said reports. When I asked how many reports, they said that it was multiple people, so I don't know if others in class called or she had her family do so. I just don't know. They couldn't tell me who called due to privacy when it comes to reporting, to try and make sure abusers don't attack the reporters. Apparently my university had attempted to stop them when the cops spoke to them, but the cops had to check anyways, so they came after talking to the university anyways. And again we did the same song and dance. I told them I felt like someone was using the cops to harass me, and the cops took this. They said no one would show up again, and anyone that calls would now have their name taken down, and if they call after being told not to, they'd be charged with harassment. Well, that was about a week ago, and someone continued calling, tried to claim a different name, didn't realize they record phone numbers as well. So Therese, your update on Kay. She called again, and again, and again until it got her charged with harassment as well as misuse of police resources. Not certain what's gonna happen going forward or if he'll be called to testify. I'm not certain what's happening, but I haven't seen her since I was informed that she's still called, which I found out from another classmate. Update 2. So, I made my last post only 3 days ago and shit kinda went down. Now, I need to explain that quite a bit of this is secondhand, because I luckily avoided the crazies. So basically, Kay does not know where I live, knows the general town, but nothing else. I did invite one girl in our class to my house to work on a project. She was the only person other than the university that knows where I live. Kay knows this, because her and girl who I'ma call Lily, are kinda not related. Lily's cousin is married to Kay's cousin, so they knew each other prior to the program but not really well, and Lily is also the one that told me about Kay still calling even after the police promised me they would not show up again, which they haven't. They just started taking down the numbers and keeping track of who called, when, and did they call after being told not to. So basically, Kay knew me and Lily were paired up for the project, knew Lily came to my house, did not know where the house was, or what it looked like, just that it was in a town X kilometers away from where they were. They also knew the town name via Lily's mom, so I got warned by Lily that Kay's mom was going to try to find me to get me to drop Kay's charges. I'm not the one charging her, the police are. I have not pressed any charges despite some people saying I should get a restraining order. Lily warned me, and I hid in my house and did not leave until Lily told me that Kay's mom had returned home. Kay's mom then proceeded to harass Lily in an attempt to get Lily to give Kay's mom my address so she could knock on my door instead of driving around aimlessly hoping to spot me. Lily refused, and deleted all texts between me and her to ensure that even if Kay's mom stole her phone, and somehow got past the password, that she would never get my address. Lily then informed the university of the situation, and had proof via texts, that the university had her print off and give to them, and the police, the university security are now watching for Kay's mom's car, and Kay's mom, security is informed that if and when I'm at school they are to escort me to and from my car. My car is also to be parked near cameras, by order of the university, until the situation dies down. Luckily I'm at clinicals and not anywhere near the university. Kay was kicked out before clinicals, so has no idea which clinics the students are at, or which I'm at. Had she stayed in longer she'd have a literal list posted to the class page, about where I'm at, and where in the building I'm at. Kay's family apparently was informed by the police that any attempts to contact me would be harassment. So says Lily, can't guarantee, but yeah. I kinda don't know how to feel. The next time I have to go to the uni is for exams in like 3 weeks, so hopefully Kay's family doesn't hold on to this that long. Until then I'm safe in a building filled with security, locked doors, and places to run. The placement was also informed about this situation and with pictures from Lily, who's at a different placement, are watching for Kay's family, and has banned them from the premise in advance. So yeah, if this goes no further I won't update anymore, but if it gets worse I guess I'll update after my exams and the HESI. Wish me luck because I'm gonna try to not stress too much about the case situation and focus on my finals and HESI, instead of that, but don't know how that'll go. Hope y'all are enjoying my mild suffering and it entertains you if only a bit, so that some good can come from this situation I can't believe I'm in right now. So, yeah, thanks again for the words of encouragement and kindness, some of you showed me during this insanity, and wish Lily some luck as she's being bombarded by her family to give Kay's mom my address, phone number, and doing her best to hold out on this, and making sure her phone is never out of her sight on the off chance she leaves it open. Update 3. Hey, so we'll start with the good before the bad. I passed all my exams and am continuing moving through the nursing program. On to the crazy. I finished the exams a few days ago, and was called into a meeting. I was not informed what the meeting was about. I got there, it was the dean, my professors, and the head of the nursing program. I was confused and a little scared because they all looked so serious. Instantly one of my professors told me not to worry, that they don't believe the accusations but need to talk to me about it. I asked her what accusation, and she informed me they had gotten a tip that I was cheating on all my exams. At that point I just wanted to curl into a ball and cry, because in my area that's something that can get you banned from every university. Cheating on exams is instant expulsion and it'll mean you have very little options or future as other universities won't accept you either. I told them it wasn't true, I'd never cheat on an exam. They said that they were having IT check my account that I used to sign into the computer for suspicious activity, and that if they found it, I'd be expelled instantly, but if they didn't, they'd take it as a false accusation, and would be contacting the police as they had an idea of who had given the tip. At that point I hadn't even considered that it might be a final attempt for Kay to ruin my life. She was the last thing on my mind because I luckily haven't had to be involved in her case. The cops have enough evidence from her repeated phone calls, and the recordings, and that she ignored the order to stop calling them about me. After less than a day I was informed by the professors they found no evidence of cheating, and they were forwarding the number of who called and the situation to the police. The police then contacted me and informed me that this was done by a relative of Kay's, not Kay herself, as apparently she's being held till trial because she's a flight risk and tried to leave the country when was out on bail waiting for her trial. The cop highly suggested, like many of you, that I get a restraining order against her family, and anyone she's friends with, and make it a crime for people to contact me on her behalf, as they can't arrest the person who called the tip on me, due to the fact that they have no evidence the person truly didn't think I cheated or something like that. They said it wasn't worth pursuing the person for harassment as it'd most likely get nowhere and make my situation worse not better. I will now be going through with getting one hopefully. The university is actually helping with this process as they feel responsible for me getting put in this position, and they don't lie how powerless they were to really stop any of what was happening to me, other than banning them from the property. I was told I'd never see Kay on the property again, which tells me she has been officially expelled. So yeah, this is hopefully the last update. I really don't want to update again. I didn't want to update this time because I just feel like I'm living a nightmare at this point, but people kept commenting update me.